Your name has become an insult, a curse spat out across 2 millennia. When a mother looks at her newborn son, she imagines kings, poets, warriors, but never you. Nobody wants to be you. History decided you are the monster, the archetype of betrayal, the man who sold God for 30 pieces of silver. To the world, you are the darkness required for the light to shine, the ultimate villain. But in the silence of your own mind, before the rope tightened, the narrative was different. You didn't see yourself as a demon. You saw yourself as the only man brave enough to force the Messiah's hand. To some, you are the son of perdition. To others, the most loyal apostle, the one who accepted eternal condemnation so that the prophecy might be fulfilled. Was the kiss an act of hatred or the ultimate sacrifice? You are not like the others. You have felt this since the first day, an invisible yet thick barrier separating your skin from theirs. They are Galileans, simple men, fishermen, smelling of the sea, and hands calloused from the nets, laughing loudly, speaking with thick accents and open hearts. You are from Kerioth, from Judea. You are urban, calculating, educated. Where they see miracles, you see logistics. Where they see hungry crowds, you calculate the cost of bread. That is why the money bag is with you. Someone had to be the adult in the room. Someone had to keep their feet on the ground while the master spoke of heaven. And you took on that burden with silent pride. The dust of the road covers your sandals as you watch the rabbi. There is something magnetic about him, undeniable. When he speaks, the air seems to vibrate, and you feel, deep in your gut, the same hope that burns in the eyes of the fanatics. You want him to be the king, not a spiritual king of clouds and metaphors, but the king of Israel, the Lion of Judah who will drive out the Roman eagles, who will break the teeth of the oppressors and restore the glory of the temple. You have seen his power. You saw lepers touch clean skin again, saw blind eyes blink against the sunlight. You know he has the power. What frustrates you, what keeps you awake on the cold desert nights, is his refusal to use it. Why does he wait? Why does he talk about turning the other cheek when Rome slaps us daily? You walk beside Peter and John, listening to their naive conversations about who will be greatest in the kingdom, and feel a bitter contempt rising in your throat. They don't understand the politics, the danger, the opportunity. You understand. You see the machinations of the Sanhedrin, the suspicious gaze of the centurions. Time is running out. The tension in Jerusalem is a drawn bow about to snap. You believe you are the strategist of this movement, the practical man who will ensure the prophet becomes monarch. You count the copper coins in the common purse, making sure there are funds for the next village, unaware that soon your hands will be weighted down with a much nobler and far more cursed metal. Your loyalty, right now, seems unshakable. But it is a loyalty conditional upon your own vision. You follow him because you believe he is the ultimate weapon against tyranny. You love him, yes, but you love the idea of what he can do more than who he actually is. And that distinction, subtle now like a crack in an earthenware jar, will eventually break everything. You watch the Jerusalem horizon approach, the golden stones of the temple shining under the merciless sun, and promise yourself that you will do whatever it takes to crown him. You are not a traitor. You are an impatient patriot, at least. That is what you tell your reflection in the murky waters of the Jordan. The entrance into Jerusalem should have been the start of the war. You saw the crowd, heard the shouts of Hosanna, saw the palm branches paving the dusty ground. The smell of sweat and ecstasy was in the air. It was the moment. You held your breath, waiting for the command, waiting for him to point toward the Fortress Antonia and summon legions of angels, or simply order the earth to swallow the Romans. But he didn't do it. He cried. He looked at the city and wept like a lost child. And then, instead of attacking Pilate's palace, he went to the temple to overturn the tables of the money changers. It was an act of rebellion, yes, but small, insufficient. Doubt starts to corrode your gut like acid. He speaks of death. He talks about seeds that must die to bear fruit. He is obsessed with his own end, and you feel the panic rising. If he dies, everything dies. The revolution, the liberation of Israel, the years you dedicated following him through the dust and the heat. It will all be for nothing. You start to wonder if he lost his nerve, or if perhaps you backed the wrong Messiah. Then the dinner in Bethany happens. The scent is the first thing that hits you. Sweet, cloying, overwhelming, pure nard. A perfume that costs an entire year's wages. You see the woman break the alabaster jar and pour the oil over his feet. The precious liquid drains onto the packed dirt floor, mixing with the grime. It is an obscene waste, an insult to logic, to economy, to the poor you swore to help. Your blood boils. You stand up, your voice trembling with righteous indignation. Why this waste? It could have been sold for 300 denarii and given to the poor. It is a rational argument. It is the moral argument, but he rebukes you. In front of everyone, he humiliates you. Leave her alone. The poor you will always have with you, but you will not always have me. His words are like a slap. He accepts the luxury. He accepts the futile worship, while the revolution starves to death. In that moment, something breaks inside you. His gaze meets yours, and you see a profound sadness, almost a resignation. You leave the house, the cold night air against your face, hot with shame and rage. The smell of nard is still clinging to your clothes, a constant reminder of his irrationality. You walk through the dark streets, and the idea begins to form. Not as a betrayal, but as a desperate tactic. He needs to be cornered. If the priests come to arrest him, if the threat of death is real and immediate, he will be forced to act. He will have to reveal his divine power to save himself, and by saving himself, he will save Israel. You don't want his death, you want his manifestation. You convince yourself you are doing him a favor. You will be the catalyst. You think you are manipulating destiny to save the world, but history will record only that you were negotiating the price of an innocent man's blood. Caiaphas's palace smells of incense and conspiracy. You stand before the most powerful men of your nation, and they look at you with a mixture of interest and disgust. You ask for the price. They offer 30 pieces of silver, the price of an injured slave, according to the law. It is an insulting sum for the Son of God, but you accept, not for the money, though the weight of it in your purse is comforting and terrible. But because the contract seals the commitment, now there is no turning back. The metal is cold against your palm, but it burns your skin like a living coal. The Last Supper is a blur of unbearable tension. The air in the upper room is dense, unbreathable. He knows. You feel that he knows. When he stands up, takes off his mantle, and starts to wash the disciples' feet, you feel the warm water and his hands on your filthy heel. He doesn't flinch. He washes the dust off the feet that walk straight to the high priest to sell him. His touch is gentle, and for a second, you almost give in. You almost break down and confess everything. But then he dips the bread in the dish and offers it to you. Your eyes meet. There is no hatred in them, only a terrible determination. What you are going to do quickly. It is an order. He is authorizing it. He is agreeing to the plan. You step out into the night. And it was night, John will write later, as if the sun had died forever in that instant. You guide the guards to Gethsemane. You know the spot. It is his sanctuary. The metal clang of the swords and the crackling of the torches shatter the sacred silence of the ancient olive trees. Your heart is hammering so hard, it feels like it might break your ribs. Now! It has to be now. When they see him, he will call fire down from heaven. You approach. The signal is a kiss, a gesture of love perverted into a weapon. You say, "Hail, Rabbi," and press your lips to his face. His beard brushes your skin. He smells of sweat and prayer. He doesn't flinch. He looks deep into your soul and asks, "Friend, why have you come?" Friend. The word destroys you. The soldiers surge forward, and then nothing happens. No fire, no angels, no earth opening up. Peter cuts off an ear, and Jesus heals it. He gives himself up. He allows himself to be bound like a silent lamb. The plan has failed. The world spins sickeningly around you. They lead him away. You are left alone in the darkness of the garden with the taste of betrayal in your mouth and the weight of the silver in your money belt. You race back to the temple the next morning, eyes red, your mind in tatters. "I have sinned by betraying innocent blood," you scream, throwing the coins onto the stone floor. The sound of them clattering and rolling echoes through the empty hall, a lonely, metallic sound that will ring in your ears for eternity. The priests laugh. "What is that to us? That is your concern. There is no absolution. There is no revolution. There is only one man condemned to death. and another condemned to live with what he has done. You race to the potter's field, the sun is high, indifferent to your agony. You remove your belt, or perhaps you find an old rope. The tree seems to wait for you, its branches gnarled like accusing fingers. You think of his mother, you think of the miracles, you think of the kiss. As the noose tightens around your neck, you realize the final, brutal irony. Your action truly will lead to the salvation of the world, but the cost will be your own soul. You helped God die, and because of that, you can never live. Your body drops. Some say the rope snapped, that your entrails spilled out onto the very earth you bought with the blood money. Others say you just swung there, a rotten fruit on a barren tree, until the crows came. But your physical death was only the beginning. While his name was exalted above every name, yours descended into the most abyssal depths of human shame. Dante placed you in the mouth of Satan himself, eternally chewed alongside Brutus and Cassius. Painters depicted you with demonic features, sallow skin, always on the fringe, always concealing the purse. Wherever the gospel is preached, your action is remembered. You became the son of perdition, the necessary vessel for the scriptures to be fulfilled. Without you, there would be no cross. Without a cross, there would be no resurrection. Without resurrection, there would be no Christianity. It is a theological paradox that has tortured the wise for centuries. If you were predestined to betray, where was your free will? If your betrayal saved humanity, why are you the only one condemned beyond hope? In dusty, forgotten Gnostic texts, buried in the sands of Egypt, some tried to recover his memory. They called him the most enlightened disciple, the only one who understood that the body needed to be destroyed to free the spirit. But those voices are whispers against a hurricane of condemnation. To history, you are the false kiss. You are greed. You are the man who sat at the communion table and chose the darkness. You never knew it, but 2,000 years later, your name is still synonymous with ultimate betrayal. No one lights a candle for St. Judas Iscariot, but in every act of hypocrisy, in every friend who stabs another in the back, in every leader who sells their ideals for power, there is a reflection of your face. You became the dark mirror where humanity sees its own capacity for evil, trembling with fear upon recognizing that given the right circumstances, anyone could have been you. You, the spectator, judged Judas easily, sitting in the comfort of 2 millennia of distance. But ask yourself, if you believed with all your soul that you could force God's hand to create a better world, would you have the courage to be the villain? Or are you just another Peter, ready to deny, but too cowardly to act? The line between the greatest of the apostles and the worst of the traitors is thinner than a hangman's rope. And in the end, perhaps Judas's tragedy isn't that he sold out Jesus, but that he sold out himself for a version of the truth that only existed in his head. What would you be willing to betray for what you believe is the greater good? You lived this life. But there is another waiting for you, another choice, another destiny, another truth no one told you, the next. Life is right next door. Can you bear it? If this life left its mark on you, leave a like. Share so others can experience what you just felt. And subscribe, because every week you become someone else. History doesn't wait. Will you?